Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, before I even start, let me say this. These subjects are very close to my heart. These are very touchy subjects right here. Now, I'm going to play the clip of exactly what Floyd Mayweather had to say about Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, and even what he said about COLLIN KAEPERNICK. But before I do, let me just go ahead and say this. So yesterday, I was actually doing a video, a Floyd Mayweather video, quoting what Floyd Mayweather had recently said about Gennady Golovkin exposing himself against Kell Brook. While I was doing that video, Fred from Barbershop Conversations, he was calling me. So I didn't answer the phone because I was doing the video. Now, once I finished doing the video, I called up Fred, and Fred was like, man, did you hear what Floyd Mayweather said? I said, what you talking about, the Gennady Golovkin, Kell Brook situation? And he was like, nah. He went in on Black Lives Matter. He started talking about All Lives Matter. He started dissing COLLIN KAEPERNICK. And my initial reaction was disappointment, obviously. I said to Fred, you might not remember this, but I remember when Michael Eric Dyson, the professor, he interviewed Floyd Mayweather on HBO. And Michael Eric Dyson, he gave Floyd Mayweather every opportunity to expose the racial double standards that he deals with HBO's Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, every time he fights on the network. This was immediately following Larry Merchant threatening to kick Floyd Mayweather's ass after the Victor Ortiz fight, right? So years and years of racial double standards that Floyd Mayweather dealt with on HBO, Michael Eric Dyson, he asked him the question. And Michael Eric Dyson, he sets the pitch up for Floyd Mayweather to knock the ball out of the park with an answer. Michael Eric Dyson, he said, Floyd, we know the racism still exists. Do you think racism is what shapes the perception of you? And Floyd Mayweather, surprisingly, after Floyd Mayweather had already talked about racial double standards in the past, Floyd Mayweather, he basically said no. It's just people that don't know nothing about boxing. And I'm paraphrasing, but this is pretty much what Floyd Mayweather said. So that was the first time Floyd Mayweather said something that I totally disagree with. And then it was the second time when Donald Sterling was exposed as a white supremacist, a straight racist. And Floyd Mayweather surprisingly came out. Even the NBA had deemed Donald Sterling as a racist. And Floyd Mayweather, he came out and he said, hey, I don't know if he's a racist. He's always been a nice guy to me. I met him and he's always been nice to me. That was the second time I completely disagreed with Floyd Mayweather. There's no way you could defend or justify a white supremacist just because he was personally nice to you. That's like basically saying if Donald Sterling called some black guy standing next to you the N-word, but he says, now that's why I like you, Floyd, because see, you're not like that N-word monkey over here. As long as you don't act like him, I'll never call you that, Floyd. I mean, that's pretty much like what Floyd Mayweather was saying. He was saying, hey, he's been nice to me. I mean, hey, he might have lynched a couple black people. He might have did whatever. But all I know is he was nice to me. A slave master can be nice to you. A guy can kidnap your daughter and be nice to her, extremely nice to her. He could have her hidden in the basement for 18 years and he could spoil her to death. So would you say that exonerates this man from being a criminal? No, right? You would still consider him a criminal at the highest level. So, I'm just rambling on. I expected to get into the clip a lot earlier than this, but, of course, you know how this goes. Let me go ahead and play this clip. There's a lot of clips that I want to play relating to what Floyd Mayweather had to say. Now, I may or may not do some more commentary. If I don't do it on this video, I'm going to do it on a part 2 because there's a lot to say when it comes to this situation. Before I play this clip, let me just say one more thing. I want people to really understand this. When it comes to the sport of boxing, boxing is one of the most emotionally attached sports there is today. It's also one of the most racially driven sports there is today. The reason why I say that is because I want you guys to understand that when we're praising how good a fighter is, it really has nothing to do with what that fighter thinks outside of the ring or what he does outside of the ring, okay? When it comes to Floyd Mayweather being a great fighter, that really has nothing to do with if you like him or hate him. It's a fact that Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter of this generation. That's not up for debate, right? So the point is, ESPN, for example, they hate Floyd Mayweather's guts. They hate that man. If Floyd Mayweather were to die tomorrow, they would be celebrating. That's how much ESPN hates Floyd Mayweather. But guess what? As much as they hate Floyd Mayweather, they still have Floyd Mayweather rated #1 as the best fighter in the last 25 years. So once again, your emotions really has nothing to do with stats and numbers. Let me give you another example. Sergey Kovalev is a racist. And just like Donald Sterling, Sergey Kovalev is a nice guy. But he is a racist. When I interviewed Sergey Kovalev, very nice guy. But any man that calls black people monkeys and calls them the N-word, and just like John Pascal said, he calls black people pieces of shit, but he doesn't call white people, non-black people pieces of shit, the man is a racist. But with that being said, even though Sergey Kovalev is a racist, I still give this man credit when it comes to how good he is as a fighter. When you ask me what I think of Sergey Kovalev as a fighter, I'll say he's the best light heavyweight in the world right now until somebody beats him. I'll say, I'm really impressed with Sergey Kovalev because he is one of the rare fighters that is willing to face anyone. He's willing to let his O go, like Keith Thurman would say, right? I commend Sergey Kovalev for having those kind of attributes. But if you ask me what I think about Sergey Kovalev outside of the sport, I would say he's a racist because that's what he is. Edwin Valero. Do you know whenever I bring up Edwin Valero's name, it could be at a boxing gym, it could be on a video, whenever I bring up Valero's name, do you know what the first thing boxing fans say? Man, that guy was so good in the ring. He would have beat Manny Pacquiao. That guy would have went far in the sport of boxing. This is always the first thing fans say when I bring up Edwin Valero's name. Despite the fact that Edwin Valero murdered his wife and then killed himself while high on drugs. That's right. Edwin Valero was a drug addict and a murderer. But yet, when people talk about Edwin Valero, they only talk about the boxing. So if you guys didn't get the point, my point is simply this. When it comes to talking boxing, I'm going to tell you guys the whole truth. And when it comes to talking about everything outside of boxing, And in this case, it would be racism, police brutality, et cetera, et cetera. And what Floyd Mayweather had to say about all lives matter or Black Lives Matter, I am going to tell you guys the whole truth as well. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and get into this clip. This interview was conducted by Sean with the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Sean and the Boxing Voice. Go ahead and subscribe to their channel if you haven't already subscribed. I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can click on it and watch the full video, because I'm only going to play this little small clip of what Floyd Mayweather had to say about all lives matter, et cetera, et cetera. So let me go ahead and roll the clip.
So I'm here to say all lives matter. You know, a lot of times we get stuck, and we're followers. When you hear one person say, Black Lives Matters or Blue Lives Matters, all lives matters. And what I learned from boxing, what everyone could take in real life, is follow directions, follow order.
That major outrage this morning after a behavioral therapist was shot by an officer after he held his hands in the air, lying on the ground, his patient with autism sitting right nearby. ABC's Gio Benitez has more on this story. Good morning to you, Gio.
Amy, good morning to you. That new video taking social media by storm overnight. The unarmed Black behavioral therapist shot by police on the streets of Miami. And police say it all started when they got a call about a man threatening suicide. Watch, just moments before the shooting, you can see 47-year-old Charles Kinsey, his hands raised in the air. The video released overnight by his lawyer. Kinsey, in the yellow shirt, works at an assisted living facility. And the man at his feet is a 23-year-old with autism who ran away from the group home. Listen as Kinsey talks to police. Kinsey even tries to calm the young man with autism. At some point, one of the officers shoots Kinsey, but he survives and speaks with Fox station WSVN from his hospital bed, recounting what he told that officer.
And I'm telling him again, sir, there's no need for a firearm. I'm unarmed. He's an autistic guy. He had a toy truck in his hand. When he hit me, I'm like, I still got my hands in the air. I said, no, I just got shot. And I'm standing there, I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me? And his words to me, he said, I don't know.
Video of the actual shooting hasn't been released, but this is the moment right after. And this morning, Kinsey is expected to make a full recovery. The North Miami Police Department has placed the officer on administrative leave, and the local state attorney's office is now investigating Amy.
Gio, this is so hard for people to get their heads around.
Can I see your license, please? Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
I just got my license. You think you're my license? I grabbed my license right there. That's my license right there.
Put your hands behind your back. 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 Put your hands behind your back.
What did I do, sir?
Are you hit?
I think so. I can't feel my leg. I don't know what happened. I just grabbed my leg.
Brakes on 866. I need a 1052.
Why did you shoot me?
Well, you dove head first back into your car.
I'm sorry.
Then you jumped back out. I'm telling you, get out of your car.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear 2 words, sir.
What a fucked up world. He's saying I'm sorry to the cop who just shot him. He's apologizing to an incompetent police officer who just shot him.
As you may have heard, director Quentin Tarantino set off controversy sirens across the country last week. This after marching with Black Lives Matter protesters here in New York City and making some highly controversial comments during a speech afterwards when he said this.
I am a human being with a conscience, and when I see murder, I cannot stand by, and I have to call the murdered, and I have to call the murderers, the murderers.
Well, joining me right now is Pastor Darrell Scott, a Trump surrogate. Trump, by the way, spoke at your church this morning. What is it that, is it more trigger happy? Are they scared? Is this something that went on before we had videotapes where people were able to have cell phones and take pictures? Do you think it's always been like this? It's on the news all the time now. What's going on?
I think you answered, you asked and answered. Some are trigger happy, some are scared, but they're only trigger happy when it comes to blacks. Some are afraid of blacks, and you're right, we're seeing it more and more because of the advent of video cameras. Listen, I was raised in the 60s. My very first experience with police, when I wasn't even a teenager yet, I got beat up by cops. But you know what's funny? Even in that time, it was in the early 70s, I got beat up by police. We didn't think it was unusual because I had a lot of friends that had gotten beat up by white police too. I've had friends in the 70s that were killed by the police. I mean, I had 2 friends that I went to high school with, very loud-mouthed guys, criminals, yes, but they were arrested and they hung themselves in jail. But we knew that they didn't hang themselves. And so, that was a norm in the black community, even while I was growing up, that the very real fear of getting beat up or killed by police, it was a reality then, and it's a reality now. It's simply getting caught on videotape now. It has to stop.
Now, you know what's so interesting about that clip that I just played for you guys right there? Because I could have played tons of clips of people talking about police brutality. But what is really interesting about that guy right there in particular is that is one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters. Matter of fact, he even did a speech at Donald Trump's Republican National Convention. And he acknowledges the problem that we have in this country with racism and racial police brutality.
What do you think of Colin Kaepernick protest?
I'm Floyd Mayweather. Kaepernick need to try to get the starting job. Stand up and get the starting job. That's what he need to focus on. But I can't knock him. If that's what he believe in, and the people stand behind him, so be it. He got the #1 selling jersey, so it's obvious he's doing something right.
Now, let me go ahead and stop it right there. Now, like I just told you guys, that was just a small clip of the full interview. You guys can watch the full interview by clicking on the link in the description box. But let me go ahead and speak on what Floyd Mayweather was just talking about. Now, speaking of Colin Kaepernick, what doesn't make sense to me, what I really don't understand when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, is unlike Colin Kaepernick, Floyd Mayweather has absolutely nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. He doesn't stand to lose any endorsements. He has nothing to lose. Colin Kaepernick and other football players, they have way more to lose. Matter of fact, they have everything to lose. And Colin Kaepernick is still fighting for the injustices in this country. Colin Kaepernick, he risked the opportunity of starting on his team as the lead quarterback. He can lose endorsements. He can lose so much. But once again, Floyd Mayweather has nothing to lose. On top of Floyd Mayweather having nothing to lose, when you really think about it, it actually benefits Floyd Mayweather to speak the truth unapologetically. Because when you look at Floyd Mayweather's track record, no matter what role Floyd Mayweather plays, the good guy, the bad guy, he is still hated. Because at the end of the day, all these fans, they see is skin color. They see a black man with power who's dominant. They don't want him in that position. So it doesn't matter what role Floyd Mayweather plays. And we've seen this in the Manny Pacquiao fight. When Floyd Mayweather fought against Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather was on his best behavior. He wasn't talking shit. He tried to be as humble as possible. It was Manny Pacquiao that was contradicting himself left and right. But who were they hating on? They were hating on Floyd Mayweather. So that proves that the people who said they hate him because he talks a lot of shit, we know that's not true. Because Floyd Mayweather said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to try to conform to what you want. You don't want me to talk shit? You want me to be quiet? You want me to be humble? You want me to be like Manny Pacquiao? Okay, I'm going to be like that. They still hated him, right? Canelo Alvarez, he's ducking Gennady Golovkin, and everyone knows that. He vacated his belt, so he didn't have to fight Gennady Golovkin. Now, despite the fact that you have even Mexican trainers and boxers that have criticized Canelo Alvarez for his actions, like trainer Robert Garcia and his father, Angulo, Orlando Salido, Jesse Vargas, and the list goes on and on and on. Despite all of this, when I criticize Canelo Alvarez the same way because I don't have the complexion for the protection, this is when the racist decafs, they play the race card. And they will call me racist, or they will call any black person racist that even thinks about criticizing Canelo Alvarez, right? Now, but what's so funny is this is when it gets really comical. When Floyd Mayweather does the complete opposite of what we're doing and tries to come to Canelo Alvarez's defense, then he gets more backlash than I do, because now the same fans that are always defending Canelo Alvarez, once Floyd Mayweather tries to defend Canelo Alvarez, they say, oh, this is why I don't like Floyd Mayweather. Why would you tell somebody to duck? That just shows you what type of coward Floyd Mayweather is, teaching someone to duck, right? How ridiculous is that? You're not going to talk about the actual guy, Canelo, who's ducking. You're not going to blame it on the promoter who promotes Canelo Alvarez, but you'll blame it on Floyd Mayweather for basically saying, hey, guys, I'm with you. I agree with you. Canelo, he should duck Golovkin, et cetera, et cetera. They still hate him. So the point is, no matter what Floyd Mayweather says, they will hate Floyd Mayweather. This is why I say, if they're going to hate you, you might as well have them hate you while you're speaking the whole truth. This is why it never bothers me when racist, ignorant fans, they hate the truth. That's what they are supposed to do. Do you know that in the 60s, they did a poll on who was the most hated man in America? Guess who came in second place? Martin Luther King. So just think about this for a second. I mean, even today, there are white suburban neighborhoods that refuse to have Martin Luther King's name as a street in their neighborhood. That's the reason why Martin Luther King Boulevard or Martin Luther King Street is always in black neighborhoods, because white people don't want that street name in their neighborhoods. For example, when I lived in Long Beach, California, when I was a lot younger, I remember in a certain area, you would see Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I noticed the further you went down, you go into this nice suburban area, all of a sudden the street turns to California Street, because I had a friend that actually lived on this street. And it's so crazy because as a kid, you don't even think about stuff like that. So you just figure, oh, you know, the street just changes like that. But as I got older, then I started to realize why the situation was the way it is. This is also the reason why, even to this day, you still have people in America that oppose the fact that Martin Luther King is a federal holiday. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. A man that was voted as the most hated, number 2, the most hated man in the nation, still to this day does not receive the type of respect that he deserves. Just think about that for a second. Why conform and they still hate you? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is why I always speak the truth. I don't care about people who hate the truth. Once again, man, you're supposed to hate the truth. That's what the devil does. The devil hates. You know, I have a lot more to say when it comes to this topic, but I'm going to go ahead and end this video. It's about 30 minutes in right now, and I'll probably do a part 2 and talk more about this situation. But that's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Alright, you guys, so yesterday I made a post in relation to the killing of Terrence Crutcher, saying that Black Lives Matter, saying that this is the reason that Colin Kaepernick is protesting, saying that this must stop, and some of y'all lost your minds. One guy told me to shut the fuck up because I never say anything when a black guy kills another black guy, and nobody protests black on black crime. Well, first of all, that's not true. People do protest black on black crime. It happens. Google it. The media just doesn't publicize it as much. Second of all, black on black crime isn't a thing. Nobody ever says Mexican on Mexican crime, Asian on Asian crime, white on white crime. Third of all, you cannot equate a civilian murdering another civilian, and that civilian being charged with murder, serving their time for that murder, to a paid government official who was paid to protect and serve, killing an innocent civilian in an unjustifiable fashion, and being put on paid administrative leave, because that is exactly what happened yesterday.
Message!
This is what we seen back then, right? So back then, they were just called a mob of white people. Today, they're called All Lives Matter.